No matter who wins the 2016 presidential election, America is in trouble. Do nothing and your retirement may be in jeopardy. But take heart, if you follow my lead, then this election may just be the best thing that's ever happened to you. Fellow American, I'm contacting you with an urgent briefing. A recent Vox.com study revealed that 28% of Americans say they'll move to Canada if Trump gets elected. 19% said the same thing about Clinton. The fact that 1 in 4 Americans is ready to move if the wrong president gets elected confirms my suspicions that there are dicey times ahead no matter who wins this election. No matter who is elected, he or she will be handed a raw deal from the get-go. Our national debt is $19 trillion and climbing. That's $160,000 for each and every taxpayer in the country. Our economic output is virtually flat, running just over 1%, while real inflation's running somewhere around 5%. Home ownership's at a 30-year low. Despite the proliferation of cheap money, fewer Americans are able to realize the dream of home ownership. I know I wouldn't want to wake up as president in this kind of economic climate. The truth is, whether it's Clinton or Trump, who winds up on the hot seat is of little consequence to me, at least as an investor. This election is an important one, to be sure, for America and for the world. All the world is asking, Clinton or Trump? But it's the wrong question. Like most things in life, we can't control the outcome of this election, but we can prepare for it. We can capitalize on it no matter the outcome. And if the winner turns your stomach and you feel the need to get out of Dodge, well, you can prepare now for that too. Ask yourself, how can you come out of this election smelling like roses no matter who wins? Maybe you have no pony in this race, but chances are you do. This is a very polarizing election. Your candidate could indeed win, but that won't necessarily mean clear sailing for your retirement nest egg. Neither Clinton nor Trump will be able to steer the ship back on course that quickly. Their policies are so polar opposite and extreme, either candidate could make things far worse in America, and those policies could have massive repercussions on your retirement plans. Worse, you might be one of those Americans who won't be able to stomach living there under the new leadership. So how do you play this election? How do you turn this all to your advantage? I don't mean to be coy, but there are really two answers. A simple answer and a more detailed one. The detailed response is just too lengthy to share here. That's why I've put together a blueprint that you can use to survive and thrive during this election, whatever the outcome. Consider it your step-by-step election survival guide, one that I'm going to send to you at no charge, even though it's taken me weeks to prepare. In a moment, I'll show you how you can grab your election survival guide free. Inside, you'll get an action plan for things you can do immediately to begin preparations, no matter what your circumstances are today. But before I tell you how to get that action plan free, I told you there is also a simpler answer to your question. How do you play this election for maximum gain? The simple answer is this. Just don't participate in any election downside. Simple, right? How do you do that? How do you sidestep any fallout from this election when it's just months away? Here's what to do. If you're worried that the stock market is going to crash, just don't invest in the stock market. I don't. If you're worried that real estate is unpredictable in many parts of the states, invest outside the states, where your buck stretches a lot further anyway. If you're worried that life will be unbearable inside the states when they win the election, give yourself an escape hatch to smoothly exit the country if you decide you'd like to. I could pick up and head to any one of a number of houses I own in different countries if I needed a change of pace. If you're worried that the dollar is going to crash hard, take advantage of the strong US dollar now. If you invest strategically now, then it doesn't matter what happens to the dollar post-election. If you're worried about our bankrupt government seizing your assets and your bank accounts, move some or all of your assets offshore, where they'll be safe. In case it's unclear, I'm talking about the single, straightforward, and deceptively simple strategy for surviving and thriving post this coming presidential election. Specifically, the strategy is this. Diversify your investments and your life in parts of the world other than the United States. Plant a citizenship flag in a country where you'd like to live if life becomes unbearable for you back home. Put your money someplace safe. Buy investments with locked-in returns that couldn't care less about who wins the election. I'm talking about foreign real estate, foreign bank accounts, agricultural investments, foreign residency, a second citizenship, and more. I'm talking about the keys to a secure future no matter who wins the day in November. Simply don't participate in any election downside. When everybody else zigs, you zag. When I tell people this, they immediately get a look of wonder, followed by a look of panic. It's exciting to think about adventures buying foreign land, holding multiple passports, living in exotic places. The great tragedy is that most people I talk to think that this kind of stuff is only for the movies or for the rich. But that's the beauty of living and investing overseas. It's open to everyone, no matter your background. It doesn't take a lot of cash either. In many countries, you can live like a king for a fraction of what you pay back home. But if you do have a large nest egg put away for retirement, it will go so much further outside the country. Yes, while the rest of America continues to suffer the consequences of decades of bad economic policy, you can escape through a secret back door. And whether you want to move overseas or just invest there, all that's needed is simply to get started. And I can't think of any better reason to get started than this election. Don't worry, I've got your back. You couldn't have a more competent advisor than me. I'm an American born in Sedona, Arizona, but I've been living and investing outside the States for more than 20 years. I've shown many thousands how to do the same, people from all walks of life. My knowledge is boots on the ground, hard-won tactics that work in the real world. And I've put what I've learned over the past 20 years inside my new digital book that I want to give you free. The timing couldn't be better. Using the knowledge I've gained over the last 20 years and put inside this guide, you can prepare for the worst in November's election. I can't wait to get it into your hands, and that's why I am writing to you today. My name is Leif Simon. I'm the world's leading offshore living and offshore investing expert. Together with my wife Kathleen, we run a publishing company called Live&Invest Overseas. Our mission is just that, to help others take advantage of the lifestyle and investing opportunities that so many countries outside our own have to offer. With the election closing in, it's urgent that I get this information into your hands as soon as humanly possible. Time is truly of the essence here. Why the urgency? First, this election brings with it unprecedented levels of uncertainty, and I simply don't want your retirement funds to be left at risk. Sure, America will survive, but can your nest egg afford to take a beating over the next 4 years? Second, there's never been more opportunity in other parts of the world than there is right this very minute. I'm a very pragmatic guy, not known for doom and gloom, and while I think this election is dangerous, I also think it's also the best time in our lifetimes to start diversifying your life overseas. If you've ever thought about making preparations to leave the States to live a better life, or if you're simply looking for a safe way to invest your money, and you want to take full advantage of the opportunities that this election will reveal rather than being a sitting duck, then my free 2016 Election Survival Guide is for you. Inside, you'll discover economic forecasts discussing potential fallout from the election, a list of my 5 favorite countries where you'd be better off moving to than Canada. Hint, they're much less expensive places to live and invest in, and the weather is way better. Why, if you play it right, it makes no difference if the US dollar keeps spiraling upward or crashes back down to earth. Hint, in the right markets, your investments are insulated from what happens to the dollar. Why you'd be wise to establish residency in another country, consider a second passport, and open an offshore bank account now. It could become much more difficult to accomplish these things after the election. Why productive agriculture should be on your radar for diversifying overseas. This may be the best hands-free option for investing your money for solid, secure returns. Yes, I've packed all of this information and more inside my 2016 Election Survival Guide. It's designed to open your world to the possibilities abroad and to prepare you for the worst-case scenarios. Once you read the 2016 Election Survival Guide, you'll see how easy it is to get started, no matter your situation today. And I'd like to give you this survival guide absolutely free when you accept my offer for a 90-day test drive of my Simon Letter advisory service. Delivered monthly, Simon Letter is my flagship digital newsletter containing my most up-to-date offshore investing tips and advice. It's the perfect companion to your 2016 Election Survival Guide. Things change rapidly, so it's important to keep up on the real-time opportunities and pitfalls around the world. I do that on your behalf in Simon Letter. Simon Letter covers topics such as the easiest countries to score a second passport, so you can quickly leave the United States if life there suddenly becomes unbearable for you. How to handle tax reporting to the IRS when you live or invest overseas. You won't find any advice on hiding your money, but you will find plenty of advice for taking advantage of legal loopholes. My number one country recommendation in Europe that's surprisingly inexpensive and just recently became a legitimate tax haven too. How to use exchange rates in your favor to make an already great deal even sweeter. This is information you need now while the dollar is still incredibly strong. How financing for real estate works in foreign countries. Yes, you can get financing in many countries as a foreigner, but it doesn't work the same as back home, so you need to know how it works and what to watch out for. How to build the ideal long-term portfolio, the best mix of cash flow investments, path of progress investments, agricultural investments, and more. This is true diversification, your best strategy for protecting your retirement. Those are the kinds of topics I write about inside Simon Letter every month. Each issue is designed to be actionable and to help you move forward with your personal overseas living and investing plan. And while I talk specifically about taxes, citizenship, global economic trends, asset protection, and more, I also get very granular on a country level. I go deep on all of these topics about countries like Panama. You'll see why this is the current base of operations for Live and Invest Overseas. Belize, Dominican Republic. A surprise to most, the DR is a true Caribbean jewel that even the most modest budgets can afford. Even more surprising, this island nation is emerging as a top offshore haven. Portugal, your top option right now for both living and investing in Europe. Colombia. Don't let 30-year-old events dissuade you from this beautiful country exploding with investment potential right now. Nicaragua, Argentina, Mexico, and many others. Inside Simon Letter, you'll be amazed to discover what kind of lifestyle and investment opportunities these countries afford the average American. Let me make one thing clear. In Simon Letter and your accompanying 2016 Election Survival Guide, I am in no way saying that you have to move overseas, nor am I suggesting that you need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into foreign property. What I am suggesting is that you prepare. Prepare for the fallout from this election and prepare for your golden years. I make it incredibly easy to get started with this test drive. I'll tell you exactly how it works shortly and how you can get your free 2016 Election Survival Guide. But first, I'd like to sweeten the pot a little. When you accept my Simon Letter test drive opportunity today, I'm also going to throw in the following fast-action pre-election bonuses. Pre-election bonus guide number 1. How to score a second passport before Inauguration Day. Let's say the worst does happen and your candidate loses. The bad guy wins. How easy do you think it's going to be to get a second passport after the new president gets sworn in, when everybody else wants out too? Or what if they shut down the borders? It could happen. When your fellow Americans are restricted as to where they can travel, you pull out your other passport and are quickly on your way. The best defense here is a good offense. Get your second passport now before the new guy takes office. There's still time, but you have to get moving on this now. Citizenship in another country is not something you can grab at the last minute. This is not cloak and dagger stuff. It's easy to do when you know how. This bonus guide expands on what you learn inside your free 2016 Election Survival Guide about second passports. Get the ball rolling on yours now so you have it when you need it. Inside, I'll show you the best places to go if you've got a little cash to invest. Don't worry if you're on a budget. I'll show you a country where you can get a second passport on the cheap, yet it's still a place you'll love to visit or maybe even call home. This bonus guide is absolutely free when you take your Simon Letter test drive today. And here's something else you'll need. Pre-election bonus guide number 2. How to open an offshore bank account before Election Day. Of course, I'm not advocating hiding money offshore. I'm a firm believer that you should abide by the laws of any and every country where you invest or spend time, because to do otherwise can get you in real trouble. This includes the United States, of course. So I wouldn't open an offshore bank to hide money from the IRS. Even if you tried, you'd fail. In today's world, it's simply not possible to hide money from the U.S. government. Rather, I suggest you open an offshore bank account for a variety of other very compelling reasons, including another source of liquidity. Good people have had their accounts frozen inside the States, when someone's stolen their identity, or thanks to an overzealous lawsuit. You never know when having access to cash safely stored away outside the states, where creditors can't touch it, could prove important. It's far easier to do business in a foreign country if you have a local bank account. Although, as you'll see in this bonus guide, you may be wiser to use a slightly more complicated setup. Your window of opportunity to take this important step could be closing. Increasingly, the United States is spreading its tentacles overseas, trying to grab tax money from those who are trying to hide it, as well as from those who simply want to protect their privacy or, again, to protect their assets from litigation, or who, like me, are simply trying to run a global business. To get its hands on offshore money, the government enacted legislation called FATCA, designed to turn foreign financial institutions into snitches who rat out Americans banking abroad. To be clear, again, I'm not advocating setting up a foreign bank account to hide money. It's just not worth the trouble. What I am telling you is that thanks to laws like FATCA, many foreign banks won't even accept American clients anymore. The reporting is just too onerous and costly for them to bother with. There are still plenty of good offshore banks for Americans, but things could get far worse after the election. A second bank account outside the country is a must if diversifying your life and investments overseas is important to you, so it's best you get it set up now before the election. Inside this pre-election bonus guide, I'll detail 6 countries where you can set up a bank account quickly and easily and, in some cases, without leaving home. One of these 6 countries has come under increased scrutiny lately, and that's left a lot of Americans with bank accounts there needlessly worried. In addition to this bonus guide, I'll add in a supplemental piece showing you how this affects you if you want to set up a bank account in this country. I'll send you both of these pre-election bonus guides along with your 2016 Election Survival Guide free when you take me up on my 90-day test drive of Simon Letter. Easy decision. Here's how your 90-day test drive of Simon Letter works. When you become a Simon Letter subscriber today, here's what you get. 12 issues a year of Simon Letter delivered right to your email box, so you never have to worry about them getting lost in the mail. That's once every month, like clockwork. Each issue is chock full of real-world offshore living and investing tips and tricks. You'll also receive a $100 gift certificate good for any of our conferences that we hold every year in a variety of countries. Many of my readers enjoy meeting me in person and getting a first-hand look at the countries they're considering living or investing in. You'll receive access to my Offshore Living Letter, my twice-weekly email alerts that allow me to keep you up to date with the very latest. And you'll have access to our special report vault. Inside, you'll find titles such as my 5 favorite offshore jurisdictions, 3 evergreen investment strategies that work, and more. It's all the information that you need to take advantage of the investing opportunities that this election will provide and to begin diversifying your life overseas. It's the most useful, comprehensive advice of its kind. Despite it being worth thousands of dollars, Simon Letter retails for just $147 a year, but I'm offering it to you as a pre-election special at just $97 for an entire year. That's how important I believe it is that you have access to this information now. That's incredibly inexpensive for the kind of brass tacks advice you'll receive. As I said, this is a test drive. Here's how it works. Become a Simon Letter subscriber today. Enjoy the current issue and 2 more full issues with no risk. Read all of the special reports inside our special report vault with no restrictions. Soak up every edition of my Offshore Living Letter newsletter. Get your 2016 Election Survival Guide and both pre-election bonus guides. How to score a second passport before Inauguration Day and how to open an offshore bank account before Election Day. Enjoy it all with no restrictions. If for some reason you feel that the information inside is not for you, that you won't be able to follow my advice, or that I've misrepresented the value in some way, then simply let us know by the 90th day and we'll refund every penny of your investment. You'll get to keep the Simon Letter issues, the 2016 Election Survival Guide, and the bonus guides and reports while we cheerfully refund 100% of your money. There's simply no risk for you to take me up on my test drive offer. Click now on the button you see on your screen to start your Simon Letter test drive today. And here's the best part. I can make this risk-free offer to you because I know how valuable the information I put out is. I know that you're going to love Simon Letter. You'll not only dream of living and investing in exotic places, but you'll actually start doing it too. And when you become a subscriber today, I'll grandfather you in at the price of just $97 a year. You'll never pay more as long as you continue to subscribe, no matter what I charge newcomers. If this election worries you and you want to put a simple plan together so you not only survive, but thrive this coming November and beyond, then start your Simon Letter test drive today. You've got nothing to lose. Is the world going to hell in a handbasket if Trump wins? Or if Clinton wins? I don't know for sure, but I do know this. I choose not to participate in any downside events like these have on the rest of the world. Thanks to my offshore strategies, they simply don't affect me, and they don't have to affect you either. It's a quick two-step process. First, get informed. Then, take action. Your Simon Letter test drive and accompanying 2016 election survival guide will get you started quickly. Click on the button you see on your screen now to start your Simon Letter test drive today.